Okay, so we will see the difference between the ArrayList and vector now. So vector is a legacy class, but ArrayList is not a legacy class. Okay, so if you go to this vector class, you can see it is available since 1.0. Okay, so it is a very old class that is available before the collection API framework has been introduced. So once we get the collection API framework, it has been inserted into the API, and it implements the list interface after that. Okay, so this is somewhat older class that is available in Java, and here in this array list you can see it is available only from 1.2, and this comes with the collection API framework. Okay, so that's why it is called as a legacy class. Vector array list is not a legacy class, and vector increments 100% means double the array size if the capacity is exceeded. Okay, but array list increments by 50% if the capacity is exceeded. Okay, say for example, let me uncomment this one, and this object, right, it has some integer value, and once we create this object, the initial capacity allocated for it will be 10. Okay, you can add around 10 values to this object. So once you exit that 10 value, it will get increased to 20. Okay, say for example, we will have a method in vector called capacity of vector is, okay, I will call that method and I will show the difference, and let us call this method in the main method, and I will execute this program. So once we initialize an object, right, the capacity of that vector will be 10. Okay, so you can add around 10 values to this object, and once you exceed that capacity, if you add 11 or 12 values, then it will double the size. Okay, so from 10 it will go to 20, and if you exceed from more than 20 values, then it will double the size. From 20 it will go to 40. Okay, so let us see that one. I will add some values here. Oh, add method, and we'll add some integer value. Okay, so okay, okay, so I will add in this way, and I think it's more than 10, right, now. So let us print this one after this. Okay, and you can see since the capacity has been exceeded, right, from more than 10 values we have for this object. So the capacity of the vector got increased to 20. Okay, it doubles the size. And for example, if you are adding more than 20 here, okay, so let me add it here, and now the size is more than 20. Okay, and you can see the vector size has been increased to 40. So it will keep on increasing. Next it will go to 80, then it will go to 160. So the memory consumption for the vector is more higher when compared to ArrayList. Okay, but what will do, ArrayList will increment by 50% if the capacity is exceeded. Say for example, you have 10 values here. If you go add some 11th value, then it will get increased to 15. Okay, not 20. And if you exceed more than 15, then it will get increased to 50%. Okay, not 100%. So that's why the memory consumption is much low when compared to the vector. Okay, so ArrayList is better in memory consumption. So that is one important point that we have. And the third point is the vector is synchronized, ArrayList is not synchronized. So synchronized means it is thread safe, this is not thread safe. Okay, so we'll see what is thread safe and what is not thread safe now. This is the simple representation for synchronized versus non-synchronized. So firstly, we will see what is synchronized. So if you have a list, and if it is in the multi-threaded environment, if thread 1 is trying to do some add operation in the list, this will get locked. Okay, and if thread 2 wants to do some remove operation, then it will not be allowed to access that list. Only when the thread 1 completes its add operation, it will come out. It will get unlocked, and thread 2 will go and do the remove operation. And at that time again it will get locked. And if any other thread wants to access or remove the values from this list, it will not be allowed until the thread 2 completes its work with this list. Okay, so this is called as synchronized, and it is called thread safe because here you will not face any kind of exceptions, since each threads are accessing one by one. Okay, at the same time, multiple threads cannot be able to access this synchronized list. Okay, so that's why it is called as a thread safe. But in case of non-synchronized, you can see multiple threads can go and access the list at the same time. Okay, if thread 1 is doing some add operation, thread 2 can do some add or remove operation with the same list. Okay, at this time you will get some kind of exception like concurrent modification, and it will create some issues. Okay, when you are trying to access, for example, if thread 2 removes a value, and if thread 1 is trying to access that value, at that time some exceptions will be caught. Okay, so this is not thread safe actually. But even if it is a non-synchronized, if array list is non-synchronized, you can make that list to a synchronized format. Okay, so that we'll see how we can make it. Okay, and we have seen what is synchronized and non-synchronized, and now it will be easy to understand why vector is called as synchronized and array list is called as non-synchronized. And even in the class file, right, if you go search for the synchronized keyword, you can see all methods are synchronized here, right? So that's why it will not allow multiple threads to access at the same time, and threads needs to be accessed the list one by one, and that's why it is thread safe. But practically this is not proven, but theoretically for vector it is thread safe. Okay, and it is synchronized. But if you go and search in array list, right, you can see none of the methods are synchronized. Okay, in the only in the documentation you can find some keywords, but in methods you can see everything or non-synchronized. Okay, and this, even it is non-synchronized, you can make this as an synchronized list by calling the collections method explicitly. Okay, so that we will see in our future example. And for now it is non-synchronized or not thread safe array list. Okay, and vector is slow because it is synchronized. Array list is fast as multiple threads are working, right. If one thread is doing the operation, the other thread needs to wait, right, in synchronized environment, so it is slow. Okay, so that waiting time is available in a synchronized list, right. So it will consume more time, but in array list, since it is non-synchronized, that kind of format implementations will not happen in array list, so it is much faster. Okay, so that is why array list is fast. And in vector you can use iterator and enumeration interface, but array list can use only iterator to traverse through the elements. Okay, say for example, let us delete this one, and yeah, we will add some three values here. Okay, and yeah, okay, let me change to 30. So there are three values in this object, right? And I will remove this one also. For example, you have a interface called enumeration. Okay, and create an object for this one. Something like enumeration equal to obj dot, and here you can find there is a method called elements. Okay, got it. And this one you have to import it from the Java util, and this method enumeration. Okay, and the last difference is vector can use both iterator and enumeration interface. Arraylist can use only iterator to traverse through the elements. So with this we have already seen for the iterator interface, right? So just call the iterator interface, and you need to create an object for it, right? And using this list, you will be calling the iterator method and put a while loop here to check whether this iterator has the next element or not. Okay, so once this is in true condition, we will print the, sorry, let us print this value. Okay, iterator dot next. Okay, and yeah, it is throwing some error. We have to pass the generics here. Okay, teacher. And now if you run this one, you can see it displays all this value here from 10 to 30, right. And this is also applicable for vector as well. So let me comment out this one, and we will call the vector, and this iterator is applicable for the vector class also. Okay, so you can see it is applicable, but in case of vector, you have another interface to traverse through the element, that is called as an enumeration. Okay, and here also just pass the generics, and let us give some name called enumerator, and call the elements method here. Okay, so this elements method is only available in the vector, and it is not applicable for the array list. Okay, so if I comment this on, and if I use the array list, right, you can see it will throw an error. Okay, so this method is undefined in array list. So you have to use only the vector class for this one. So that's why they have mentioned enumeration is only applicable for vector. Okay, and using this you can just go through the let me call this one using this object. You can call the has more elements, and this will give the boolean flag like whether it's true or false. And just you can go here and get the next elements one by one, so that you have next element, right. So this will display the elements. So now if you run this one, it will iterate through using this enumeration interface, and you can see the values are being displayed as well, right. So this is the difference between the vector and array list. And Yeah, for vector, since it is a legacy class, right? Most of the developers are not using this vector class, and they will only go for this array list. Okay, and since it is taking more space, the memory consumption is high when compared to array list. Okay, so that is one disadvantage that we have. And vector is synchronized, array list is non-synchronized. Okay, because of that, it is slow and it is fast. Okay, so synchronized pattern you will get only in multi-threaded environment, and that also you can explicitly assign this array list to an synchronized pattern. Okay, so how we'll do that? Just you can call a method called collections dot synchronized list, and you can pass this list inside this one. Once you do that, it will become as a synchronized list. Okay, so you can explicitly change it for even for array list also. So that is the main thing. So mostly no one will go for the vector only, since it is an legacy one. Array list is the most commonly used list class, and also linked list you can use it. So that we will see the difference between the array list and linked list now.